Welcome to the B300 versus B200 King Air Garmin Autothrottle Differences Training video. This video builds on top of the information presented in the B200 King Air Garmin Autothrottle videos. If you haven't watched those videos, you'll be missing vital context for the information presented in this training. If you need to review those prior to watching this video, click the link in the description below. For the B300 Differences training, we'll revisit the primary topics that we covered in the B200 Autothrottle training and discuss the similarities and differences you'll find in the B300. Since the principles of automation management remain the same, regardless of what autopilot or autothrottle system we're flying, we'll begin with system components. For the B300, the autopilot mode controller will be the same found in the B200. The autothrottle disconnect switches are located on the B300 power levers in the same location as the B200. Note the B300 AFMS limitations also call out proper setting of the power lever friction locks. In the B300, you'll find the AT servo circuit breaker located here, in the bottom left-hand corner of the right-hand circuit breaker panel. Make sure to familiarize yourself with the breaker's location in your aircraft. In the B300, the location of the autothrottle mode annunciator is the same as the B200, as is the color logic. Autothrottle engagement and disengagement methods are the same as the B200. Autothrottle modes in the B300 are the same as the B200 and have similar engagement points. Let's discuss each mode as it applies to the B300. When autothrottle takeoff is armed on the ground, it will transition from armed to active when percent torque passes 50%. Autothrottle climb and descent modes are the same as the B200. And the default climb and descent targets in the flight plan FMS en route pages are the same. Autothrottle normal and max cruise torque targets are based on the 1500 RPM normal and max cruise power charts in the B300 airplane flight manual. AT speed logic in the B300 is the same as the B200. For AT idle, the transition altitude of approximately 45 feet AGL and the transition criteria remain unchanged from the B200. Finally, let's discuss the abnormal operation and protection modes of the Garmin Autothrottle for the B300. AT hold logic is the same on the B300 as the B200, as is AT idle mode fault. For single engine operations, the autothrottle will enter one engine in operative mode if it detects a 30% torque difference between the two engines. In one engine in operative mode, it will not allow the pilot to select a speed lower than VMC plus 10 knots, and will alert the pilot if they do, with a white AT speed limit annunciation appearing on the attitude indicator. The same limitations to single engine operation in the B200 autothrottle also exist in the B300, in addition to a limitation preventing autothrottle usage on steep approaches. The autothrottle emergency procedures in the B300 and the B200 are the same. Autothrottle speed protection modes, ATV min and ATV max, engage the same way as the B200 when approaching the upper and lower airspeed limits. The torque limit for the B300 autothrottle is 98%. Additionally, while the ITT limit is still selectable by the pilot, AT takeoff will ignore the selected limit and go to 10 degrees below the ITT red line. AT max power will prevent overtorque or overtemp conditions on the B300, the same as the B200. Disabling autothrottle protections on the B300 is the same as the B200, as is the interaction with Autopilot Electronic Stability and Protection, or ESP. To conclude, the primary differences between the B200 and the B300 autothrottle are the location of the autothrottle circuit breaker, the armed to active transition points for AT takeoff, the source of the torque settings for AT normal cruise and AT max cruise, the torque differential required for the autothrottle to enter one engine in operative mode, and the maximum torque limit for the B300 autothrottle. To test your knowledge of the differences, try to write out the answer to each bullet point on your own. Remember, the information in this video may not be up to date, and new software releases may update the behavior of the autothrottle. Be sure to review the most recent copy of your AFMS and Pilot's Guide for autothrottle related limitations, procedures, and system descriptions.